Hello, everybody, and welcome to FameLab, the Geneva heat.
Welcome to CERN in the globe of science and innovation.
She's Claire Lee.
He's Stephen Goldfarb.
And we're glad to welcome you here to this very important Geneva heat, which is going to qualify 5 lucky people to go to
the Zurich final on the 9th of May, as well as a masterclass on science communication.
And so how are they going to get there? That's the big question, right? We have 11 people who are going to be participating today, and they are going to have to satisfy not only these very tough, very intelligent, and
very beautiful.
Very beautiful, yeah, very beautiful. 5 jurists, but they also have to satisfy you. You're going to get a chance to vote through your applause after each of the acts.
In addition, we have an online audience. This event is being live webcast on the CERN webcast, and the online audience has a chance to vote via Twitter, I think?
They have a chance to vote. Let me get my notes here to make sure, because this is a little complicated. You know, I can't click on my paper. They have to go to twitter.com/FameLabCH, and they need to put the hashtag, the name of the participant, hashtag name of participant. The instructions are on there, and it would help if they send a message. So ampersand, or whatever you call that thingy, at FameLabCH. They can also go to facebook.com/FameLab Switzerland, and they can click on the Audience Award. Achintya, the Rao of Physics, is sitting over there on our social media. He's going to be monitoring it, and he's going to be taking the votes from people out in the cyber world out there. Okay? So remember that each contestant is going to come up here for
3 minutes only.
3 minutes only. When they're done, give them a big applause. We're going to be recording your applause. We're going to know exactly which ones of you applauded loudest, for how long.
We're CERN, we know these things.
We have NSA helping us out. We got a line to Snowden. He's going to be checking it out. So we know exactly who's applauded. So applaud for the people that you like the most.
That's right. But of course, the most important winners will be the ones decided by our jury. So our jurors here today, we have Christophe Ungar, who is from Radio Télévision Suisse.
And we have, so we're going from the right to the left here. So, okay,
this is pretty,
that's fine. Okay,
today.
Hi, Christophe. Okay, so we have Yasmin Koch. She's the head of science of the British Council.
We have, fresh from the International Space Station, we have Claude Nicolier, an ESA and Swiss astronaut.
And we have Emma Sanders from just across the road, actually a lot closer than the space station, who is with CERN Communications. She also wrote the Atlas pop-up book, Emma Sanders.
And last but definitely not least, we have a resident theorist from CERN, Luis Alvarez Gomez.
Very good.
I had to practice that.
Yeah, big hand to the jury. They've got a really hard job to do because they are all outstanding, talented young scientists who are great at communication.
Right, so shall we get started? I'm very eager to hear these people talk.
Okay, very good. Okay,
let me go get the first guy.
Let's go get the first person coming up here is Daniel Galishan. Daniel Galishan. Hello, Daniel. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you very much.
So you're from EPFL, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
And you're studying MRI physics? Okay, so you're going to come up here, and I understand you're going to give us a little bit of a frisbee throwing tango dance?
Maybe not this evening.
Maybe not this evening. He has a lot of talents. Instead, you're going to talk to us a little bit about your work with MRI physics. Is that right? What's the title of your talk?
It's called I'm a Physicist, and I Can Read Your Mind.
He's a physicist, and he can read your mind, so be careful what you're thinking out there. You have 3 minutes. You can watch right here the timer. You got an audience here. You've got the jury here, and you've got actually a global audience out there. Good luck. Do your best.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm a physicist, and I can read your mind. Wait a moment. I'm getting something. You're thinking, what a load of rubbish. Because, of course, what self-respecting physicist would go about trying to read someone's mind without a big machine. And the big machine I use for my research is an MRI scanner. And in case you don't know what that is, these are the scanners you find in hospitals where you lie on a bed, it takes you inside a big tube, and it's able to make images of the inside of your body. Now, the vital key that lets MRI start to unlock some of the secrets of what's going on inside our brains is oxygen. The harder the brain is working, the more oxygen it needs. And oxygen is transported around the body by the red blood cells, and these are the ones shaped like little flying saucers. And they bind to the oxygen as you breathe it in through your lungs, and they release it when it gets to where it's needed. Now, crucially for MRI, the magnetic properties are different when the oxygen is bound to after it has been released. This means that we can track changes in the amount of oxygen in our blood by looking for changes in the MRI signal. If we go for a fairly coarse resolution, say 0.5 centimeter or so, we can get an image of the whole brain in as little as 1 or 2 seconds. We can then repeat this over and over a course of several minutes and look for where the signal changes correspond to when we changed what we were thinking about. Now, a simple experiment would be to have flashing lights for 30 seconds and then dark for 30 seconds, flashing lights again, and so on. And then we would be able to look for where the signal rises and falls every 30 seconds in the same way. What this would tell us is that the area of the brain associated with processing this visual information is located back here. But of course, we can use this kind of MRI for way more than just looking at flashing lights. We can use it to look at the different emotions. On one side, we could also use it to look at how our brain responds to pain and how these responses change under the influence of pain-killing drugs, with the hope of better understanding how the painkillers work. It was even used in a recent study on patients in a vegetative state. They were thought to be completely unable to communicate and unconscious. In the MRI scanner, however, some of them were able to respond. They were asked to think about playing tennis to answer yes to a question, or to imagine moving around the rooms in your house in order to answer no to a question. Now, MRI cannot tell you what the house looks like, but because the different patterns of brain activation for these two distinct mental tasks are so different, you can answer a question just by thinking. So I may not be able to tell what you're thinking, but I can tell where you're thinking it, which is why I'm a physicist and I can read your mind.
Remember aloud. Very good. That's very good, Daniel.
Thank you.
Let me ask our jury, do we have 1 or 2 questions or comments you'd like to make? I know you've got one. Christophe?
Yeah, it's okay. Yes, congratulations. I mean, really perfect English, perfect talking. A bit shy at the beginning, but getting very well. I mean, I know what is MRI, and this comparison with reading your brain is quite interesting. I find it's a good metaphor, I think, for understanding what is MRI.
Thank you.
Just add.
Okay, so, okay, go ahead, Yasmin.
I really like how you used your hands. You know, it was very, very visual, and I think that I really like the tempo. You know, it was quite nice to follow, and you started off and you came back. So it's quite, you know, it was great to follow, and I didn't feel like you got lost or anything. You really brought us back.
And you read the mind of your dog.
They have done fMRI experiments on dogs, but I haven't tried that.
Okay, one last hand for Daniel. Thank you very much. Excellent job.
Thank you very much. That was a wonderful start to the evening. Our next participant is Chris Hammonds. He's a behavioral finance. Oh, he's studying behavioral finance at the University of Geneva. Let's welcome Chris. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to CERN.
Thank you.
I hear that you're an actor.
Yes.
So I could ask you to recite the Jabberwocky poem, or I could ask you to recite Pi. But what I'm going to ask you is, what has been the most interesting thing that has happened to you on stage?
I think probably the most interesting thing was we did a performance of the complete works of William Shakespeare abridged, which obviously you can imagine had a lot of changes every night. But I was supposed to improvise the beginning of the second act where I would write a song based on audience suggestions. And it rarely worked. Mm-hmm. But the one time it did work, someone asked me to write a song about love, and I think my opening line was, love is the lowest score you can get in tennis, and it was the one night it worked. And
That sounds awesome.
Thank you.
What are you going to be telling us about today?
My talk is called How Your Brain Makes Choices.
That sounds really interesting. Okay, here's your timer. You've got
Thank
3
you.
minutes. There's your audience, there's your jury. Good luck.
Thank you. Good evening. How does your brain make choices? Suppose I ask you a simple question. Which number is larger, 2 or 4? Okay, so in this case, you turn to your brain. You go, okay, brain, we've got a problem. They've asked me the question, which number is larger, 2 or 4? And your brain will respond, well, every time you've expressed the belief that 4 is larger than 2, everyone agreed with you, and you like that. So we're going to assign a high value to that. Every time you've expressed the belief that 2 is larger than 4, everyone thought you were stupid, and you hated that. So we're going to assign a very low value to that. So your brain will then compare these two values and go, yes, 4. And I say, yes, that's correct. However, there are some people who, when you ask them the question, which number is larger, 2 or 4, they will respond, bananas, because it's hilarious. And they prefer to give a joke answer rather than the correct answer. But which joke answer? How do you decide which joke answer to give? They could have given the answer as strawberries. So the brain will assign a value to bananas, let's say 16, and it will assign a value to strawberries, let's say that's 14. Now this is important. At the beginning of the choice, the brain knows what these values are, and it knows that the value for bananas is larger than the value for strawberries. But that makes you think that it would just pick bananas, but it doesn't. What it does is it picks one of them at random based on these numbers. So imagine a large bag filled with balls. Most of them have the word bananas on them, but some of them have the word strawberries on them. So your brain will go in, it will pick one ball out, and it will read it out. And it might say strawberries. It's more likely to say bananas, but it might say strawberries, even though it knows that the value for strawberries is lower. And the reason it does that is because every time you make a choice, you can only pick one of the options. And the next time you make the choice, the circumstances might be completely different. So what worked in one circumstance could be different in the other circumstance. And it turns out that the brain has actually evolved to make these choices in an optimal way. This is the best way to make choices under these circumstances. And that is why when you ask very young children which number is larger, 2 or 4, they may occasionally say 2. And every time they do, that number will decrease. And every time they say 4, that number will increase. And as that happens, they will answer 4 more often. But as long as the two values are close enough together, they may still occasionally say 2. Because over time, for some reason, 2 might have become larger than 4. They don't know that yet. And as the two values move further and further apart, at some point, the brain will go, do you know what? I'm never answering 2 to that question ever again. Which is why you, as educated people, will always say that 4 is larger than 2. Unless you're trying to be funny. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
You know, asking which is larger, 2 or 4, and getting the answer bananas is pretty much exactly what happens when I talk to my 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Let's have a listen to what the jury has to say. Luis.
I like the presentation very much, but I have a question. You are assuming that the brain always uses binary logic. Why can't it use also fuzzy logic?
Fuzzy logic? Well, it's sort of, this model does sort of predict that. It's not binary. You can do it for lots of different choices, but the model is easier to explain for binary choice. But yeah, the principle is the same for lots of choices. I think it was that.
What about Christoph?
Yeah, I must admit I'm a bit tired today, but it started out quite well, and then I started to lose you a little bit, and I perhaps have one question. What exactly, I mean, are the methods? What is your work, in fact, and how do you get to these results, I mean, very quickly? I mean,
my work is in finance, so I'm looking at how things get priced on the market. And there is one phenomenon in the market where people buy something at a price that they know is wrong. And I'm using this model, so this is part of my review of what's been done in neuroscience to try and explain why this happens in the market. And that's how I came across this research, and that's why I'm presenting it today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Very good. Okay, we're going to bring on now our next participant, who's Samira Asghari from the EPFL. Hello, Samira.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I understand that you study the genomics of infectious diseases,
That's true.
and in no relationship whatsoever that I can think of, you hate TV and you love George Clooney. Now explain this to me. You don't watch George Clooney when he's on TV, or do you?
I go to movies to see him on the big screen.
Uh-huh.
And that's true, I really hate TV. I don't like the idea of someone else telling me what I should see. I know there are lots of channels to choose from, but internet provides most of that material, and I have
Excellent.
broader choices.
Okay, that explains it. Okay, but let's get whole different subject. Tell us what your talk is going to be.
My talk is about how imperfect we all are.
Uh-huh. Okay, very good. Your timer's here, your audience is here. Do your best.
You are not perfect. You with the red shirt, you are not perfect. With all due respect, sir, you are not perfect. I am not perfect. We all have flaws, and no matter how hard we try, we'll never get rid of them. I don't know you, of course, but I can tell you this because I know human genome. Let me explain. We all have about 20,000 protein coding genes in our genome. These protein coding genes are like recipes for making proteins. And proteins are the molecules that do all the functions in our body. Proteins bring oxygen to our lungs. They defend our body against infections. And they bring us energy when we eat food. With the recent advancements in technology, we can now read our genome like a real cookbook. And we call that genome sequencing. With genome sequencing, we now know that in any randomly selected human being, about 10 proteins completely lost their function. This happens mostly due to errors during the process of reproduction. And we know these errors as loss-of-function mutations. So, loss-of-function mutations are the errors, imperfections, flaws in our genome that impair protein production or protein function. This is important because these mutations can bring us genetic disorders. I'm sure you've all heard of diseases like hemophilia, like anemia, like lactose intolerance. These are all due to loss-of-function mutations. But I hope you can acknowledge the fact that most people do not have a genetic disorder. And that's thanks to evolution, because evolution structured our genome in a way that 2 or more genes can do very similar or exactly the same function. So, I hope you acknowledge that we might not be perfect, but most certainly we are lucky. And some of us still get luckier, because not only the loss-of-function mutation in some people do not bring a disease, but bring them an advantage. As contradictory as it sounds, it's like a good flaw. The famous example of that is a loss-of-function mutation in a protein called CCR5. Those who have this mutation are immune to HIV, and they don't have any side effects. How amazing is that? I hope I could convince you that loss-of-function mutations are important. But what I really want you to remember is next time that you are having a bad day, remind yourself that you are born lucky. And no matter what is it that you are facing, if it doesn't kill you, it can make you stronger.
Thank you, Samira.
You're welcome.
I feel so much better now because I've been working my whole life at being imperfect. So I feel I've achieved something really good here. We have time really for one question or comment. Okay, Emma, you've got the microphone.
Thank you, Steve. So thank you for a very interesting talk. I learnt a lot, and I do hasten to add that I do know that I'm not perfect. I would have liked to perhaps have known a little bit more about the good side effects.
The good side effect, it comes mostly, I work, or maybe I know mostly, but that's also true that it comes mostly with infectious disorders because it's like a double-sided sword. it can make you more susceptible or protects you. The one about HIV I told you is a good example. There are others about malaria. Those people, there are people who have a genetic defect, but they are way less susceptible to malaria because their red blood cells are in a shape because of that defect that they cannot really get malaria. There are also, for herpes simplex virus, that is known that there are genetic defects that can protect them, but also there are way more genetic defects that can make people more susceptible to infections, and that's what my PhD is trying to achieve, working on one of these infections and one of these diseases and try to find out what exactly is that genetic flaw is.
Excellent. Very good. That sounds like a great thesis. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Another big hand for Samira.
Okay, up next we have an astrophysicist from EPFL. Let's welcome Philippe Cobel. Oh, you found it? Yeah, I did. No, the plane. Yes. Philippe, you are working with a group called Flash and Splash, is that correct?
Right pronunciation.
And you do parabolic flights. That sounds very interesting.
We do that, yes.
What is that like? Have you been on a parabolic flight?
In fact, I did 4 times now.
4 times?
Yes.
And what does it feel like?
You will feel it during the talk, hopefully.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I don't want to speak. Okay, what is the title of your talk?
My talk is entitled, it will be in French, and the title is Et si Newton tombait avec sa pomme?
Ah, parce que la pomme.
Thank you.
Well, good luck. You've got 3 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, Philippe.
De tout temps, les pommes ont marqué l'histoire des hommes. Il y eut d'abord la Bible, avec Adam et Ève, puis Walt Disney, avec Blanche-Neige. Et même les Suisses ont suivi, pour une fois, avec, vous savez, Guillaume Tell. Et finalement, les physiciens, avec... Ah, il était d'une fois donc Newton, roupillant peinard dans son jardin, quand il se fit réveiller par la chute d'une pomme. Il eut alors un coup de génie et il se dit « cette pomme est attirée par la terre !» Non. En fait, le truc vraiment génial, ça a été d'en déduire une loi universelle, à savoir que tous les corps de l'univers s'attirent entre eux avec une force qui est d'autant plus grande que ces corps sont massifs. Autrement dit, l'univers entier est en train de se casser la gueule. Ouais, comme ça. Vous aussi, et vous aussi. Nous tous, quoi. La seule différence, c'est que ce sol retient votre chute. Et puisqu'il vous empêche de tomber librement, les parties supérieures de votre corps appuient vers vos pieds et sur cette balance, et c'est comme ça que vous pouvez ressentir cette sensation d'écrasement qui est votre poids. Mais imaginez un instant que le sol disparaisse. Vous vous sentiriez libre de votre corps. Et la balance indiquerait 0. Vous seriez en apesanteur. Reprenons ici notre histoire. Donc, Newton se rendort et fait un rêve. Il s'imagine miniaturisé à l'intérieur de la pomme et tombant exactement avec elle. Du coup, à l'intérieur de la pomme, il flotte librement. Il est en apesanteur. Ouais, presque. Pas tout à fait, car il a oublié la résistance de l'air qui s'oppose à la chute. Et du coup, celle-ci engendre une force de la pomme sur ses pieds, ce qui engendre une sorte de jus de pomme pas terrible. Donc, pour éviter ce genre de désagrément, mes amis et moi avons remplacé la pomme par un avion. Un avion qui se jette dans les airs, tout en maintenant juste la propulsion minimum pour compenser la résistance de l'air, ce qui nous permet de profiter véritablement de l'apesanteur pendant une vingtaine de secondes. Et là, il ne faut pas oublier de remettre les gaz, parce que l'avantage de l'avion, c'est qu'on peut répéter cette manœuvre autant de fois qu'on veut. Donc, vous le savez peut-être déjà, Mais ces vols dits paraboliques vont être ouverts pour le public en Suisse. Donc je vous invite à tenter l'aventure, mais un conseil. La veille d'expérience, évitez la fondue. Merci.
Thank you very much. You're braver than I am standing on that thing on stage. I think we have time for one comment from the jury, and of course, who better to ask but our astronaut in the house, Claude.
Excellent, Philippe. On a beaucoup apprécié cette présentation. Ça signifie qu'en fait, l'apesanteur, c'est la chute libre. L'ascenseur dont le câble casse, c'est également la chute libre. Et c'est l'apesanteur pour les occupants de l'ascenseur. Pour quelque temps, bien sûr. Il y a généralement une terminaison de cette trajectoire qui peut être désagréable, mais c'est ça. On peut dire ça?
Oui.
L'apesanteur, c'est la chute libre?
Oui, on peut dire ça, et je pense que vous le savez plus que tout le monde. On a souvent tendance à croire que lorsqu'on va dans l'espace, on est en apesanteur parce qu'il n'y a plus de gravité. Mais ce n'est pas tout à fait ça. En fait, Claude, quand il est dans l'espace, quand il fait le tour de la Terre dans une navette, il tombe aussi librement, seulement avec une vitesse tellement grande qu'il finit par ne jamais retomber sur la Terre. Mais le principe, c'est exactement ça. Et sans friction de l'air, on est véritablement en chute libre, en apesanteur.
Merci.
Thank you very much, Philippe.
Thank you.
I've got your apple.
Okay, our next participant is Giovanni Porcellana. Hello, Giovanni.
Hello.
So you're from this place called CERN. It's near here.
Yes, yes.
Okay, very
It's
good.
this strange place here.
Uh-huh. It's a great place. I like it myself. So you are working actually on, a lot of people work on accelerators, but you're working on medical applications.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
It's say a side effect of basic research that we are developing new technologies also for medical application and for curing cancer, in my case.
Uh-huh. Okay, so in your case, what's the title of your talk?
It's not related. It's STEAM, from Italian coffee to electricity.
Italian coffee can cure things.
That's
I know
interesting.
that. I know Italian coffee cures things. Here's your clock, 3 minutes. There's your jury. Here's your audience. Do your best.
Thank you. Hi to everybody. As you may have understood, I'm Italian. And when I travel, I like to bring with me my Italian coffee machine. I don't know if you know how it works, because it makes the best coffee of the world, but you simply have to put the water inside this reservoir, the filter with the coffee, and then cover it. And when, with the heat, the water can go up through the coffee and can make a wonderful coffee. But how can it be possible, this mechanism? It's thanks to steam. Steam is a powerful tool. It's since ages that humankind use steam as for providing work. And for example, it's one of the main components of the 18th century Industrial Revolution. You may have in mind for sure these big pictures of steam-powered locomotives with trains. They're like one of the symbols of the industrial progress. But steam is not just an old-fashioned tool from the past. It's actually a real present tool in our lives. For example, you know that 60% of the world electricity production is made thanks to steam? So you may wonder how we can make electricity from steam. But there are actually two main processes, of course. One is to make steam. And the other one is to convert the energy of steam into electricity. The first one is pretty easy. If you ever made pasta, you know that by boiling water, you produce steam. So you just have to boil water and to find a heat source in order to do that. Heat source can be a fuel, for example, coal or uranium. Yeah, because in nuclear power plants, we actually boil water. In the other part, we see the final part, we have to imagine to have like a big bicycle dynamo that is turning thanks to steam instead of pedals. We call them turbines. And there are exactly those turbines that provide the electricity for our daily life. So steam is always with us, and it can give us the lights, and it can heat the stove, where every morning I can have my cup of coffee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Giovanni. Is that full? I mean, can
Not
I have a
yet.
not yet, okay.
We can make it later.
All right, we'll get some later. Okay, so Giovanni here. We have time for a quick comment or a question.
Interesting talk, but it's a lot of background information. I mean, we know how these power plants work. How do you use steam? What do you do with steam in your lab? What is new?
In my daily life, I don't use steam anymore. I was used to use it when I was working as a nuclear engineer. But in daily life, for example, I say that we use it for coffee or for making pasta. But yeah, in power plants, for example, we boil the water in big heater, and the water boiled, so the steam produced is making turbines turning like a dynamo of a bicycle. I'm working on medical application of accelerators. So particle accelerator for curing cancer.
Okay, very good. Okay, so it's just to make sure it's clear, you can talk about any topic, a science topic, and coffee is one of them, I think. Very good. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, too.
A big hand for Giovanni.
Bye.
Thank you. And I want that coffee pretty soon. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. We've got a very special treat for you. A guy named Alex Brown. He's going to teach you all of the different things which actually apply to the talk about imperfection, I think. I think that's probably the best I can do. So the king of imperfection, Mr. Alex Brown. Come on. Big hand for Alex. You don't have to vote for Alex, but you can applaud.
The king of imperfection, that's a new one. Oh dear. So just to be clear, I'm just the halftime act to distract you from how amazing those were. We're going to be terrible for a bit. Right? This is really all about me being rubbish to really make these guys stand out, because it's kind of brave what they're doing. I mean, these are full-time scientists who are coming here and putting themselves on this stage, getting lights in their eyes, and putting their work out there for you. So I've got a lot of admiration for them, and I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about where I've come from to be in a position to have so much admiration for them. So I don't know if you noticed, but Steve's T-shirt is covered in maths, right? This is hard maths. Claire once said that the maths involved in physics, which is what Steve's T-shirt is all about, the maths involved in physics, I mean, this is like Jedi maths, okay? Maths doesn't even do that kind of maths. And so when I was at school, I was kind of okay at maths, I kind of enjoyed it, and then it got difficult, right? Then we kind of went to grown-up maths. That stuff for physics, really not my cup of tea. So my initial interest in kind of going out and exploring the world, and I'm going to be a scientist, yeah, read the T-shirt, and it was going to be amazing, and then it really wasn't, because I just didn't have the maths for it, so physics was kind of out. Then you're thinking, hang on a minute, this guy is at CERN, and he doesn't do physics, so what does he do? Well, we'll get to that. But yeah, physics and maths, that was out. So then what's next in the list of like science by authority? The next one is chemistry, of course, which is applied physics, and or low temperature physics, but not super low temperatures, because that's something else entirely. And chemistry at school, I mean, I don't know if anyone here studied it as well, but especially organic chemistry was something I really, really liked, because it was all about like blue liquid, and you add another liquid, and it turns purple really violently, and organic chemistry is the chemistry of life, and it smells funny, it's fantastic at school. Then you get to university. Then it's kind of big people organic chemistry, which is all about suspicious white powders and translucent liquids, and you put the powder in the liquid, and you stir it, and you heat it up, and then you cool it down, and you filter it, and you get a bit less white powder and a bit more transparent liquid, and you kind of think, well, that's not fun. There's no color change there. What is this? So I was quite unimpressed with that, so I got bored pretty quickly. And then I thought, okay, what's next? Because I'm very much a flavor of the month kind of guy. I was like, ooh, over here. And yeah, I was still vaguely interested in chemistry, and I thought, okay, maybe chemistry of life or something, you know, let's get into like squishy science. And it turns out that biochemistry is even more complicated than that. Any kind of newspaper story that says this molecule cures this disease is rubbish, right? It is unbelievably complicated. It won't fit in a 3-minute FameLab talk. Apologies to any of the second half who might be doing that, but it's, yeah, hats off if they manage that. So then I was actually on an Erasmus, if you ever get a chance, do it, Erasmus trip to Germany, and I was given the opportunity to study in an animal behavior lab. We were studying ants, these leafcutter ants. They're from Brazil. And so to study their behavior, you actually have to simulate Brazil in the lab. So I was doing this in February in Germany. There's this much snow on the ground, so I would traipse every morning in the big coat, the big boots, like 2 pairs of trousers, hat, gloves, the whole lot. Go, lab, lab, lab. All my friends would go off and go into their not very well heated labs to do whatever it was, probably biochemistry or something really hard. And I would just get into the lab, and within 30 seconds, it would be right, hats off, gloves off, coat off, shorts, flip-flops, ants, just watch and count them all day, maybe pina colada or something. And I thought, okay, I can do this. This science I can do. All right, this is the life. But these ants, you've got to feed them, right? They're like any other organism. And these ants eat leaves. They eat a very specific kind of leaf that only grows in these really thorny shrubs. And me being the undergraduate, it fell to me as my job to go and find these leaves when the ants got hungry. So I ended up having to go back outside in my boots, extra trousers, extra coat, extra gloves, extra hat, through this much snow, to find a shrub with extra thorns to feed the ants. And it was at this point that I had a sort of revelation, if you will. You get moments in your life, I think, where a fundamental truth about the universe just hits you in the face, or in my case, scratches me on the arm, because I thought, what am I doing here? The Brazil simulation is not worth being out in the cold like this, getting thorny scratches all up my arms for some damn leaves, for some damn ants. I don't care this much. So I thought, okay, biology, not for me. What's easier than biology? Psychology. People, they're simple, right? Yeah, no. So I ended up, in my final year, doing some psychology units. I had a very flexible degree. It was fantastic. And this psychology course turned out to be quite a lot of hand-waving. It turns out the human brain, we really don't know that much about it. You think physics is complicated. The human brain is this big black box where everyone kind of just puts in their own theory, and that's about it. I mean, we got the physicists doing their MRI scans. That gives us some information. Psychologists coming up with theories and trying to test them. It wasn't rigorous enough for me. It wasn't, in fact, mathsy enough. So I turned my back on science entirely and went into science communication, which is kind of where failed researchers go to die. And that's where I kind of thought, okay, this is just talking about people in simple terms, about ideas I think I understand, that scientists definitely understand. I can transmit an idea from A to B. How hard can it be, right? The public is clever. They want to be informed. They come to events like this. It's fantastic. So I went to a science centre. I was living in Bristol in the UK, and they've got a fantastic science centre there. It's not a museum, so it doesn't get government funding, as they keep telling me. And this museum is one where you have to touch the exhibits, otherwise they don't work. You've got to press a button, you've got to turn a lever. Don't turn levers, pull levers. And then it lights up, it whizzes, it bangs, it does something, and then you might get some education, you'll certainly be entertained. And I love this place. I was playing with the toys and helping people to kind of get some kind of understanding out of it. And we had an exhibit all about humans. My favorite one was the real human brain. It was the only thing that you didn't actually have to touch. It just sat there. And it was a real human brain, and everyone had a reaction. Most people was like, whoa. Other people were like, what the, no, don't want that. But everyone had a reaction. And behind it was a big wall, probably the same shape as the wall back there, and it was the famous diagram of evolution. Right? You've got the kind of monkey man, and then man with bone, and then man with hammer, and man at computer. It's always men in that diagram as well. I don't like that. And so it's a whole exhibition about human evolution. And along comes, typical 6-year-old going, sir, people were calling me sir, sir, what's that? I was like, oh, okay, well, this is all about human evolution. Where do we come from? He said, oh, I'm from down the road. I said, no, where does humanity come from? Kids are comedians, it's fantastic. And then the mum comes along, and the mums are usually a few steps behind the kids because they're actually trying to read the things. And then she gets this look on her face as I'm going on about how the universe is 14 billion years old, and the planet Earth is 5 billion years old, and humanity is hundreds of millions, and all these very, very long amounts of time. And she's got this sort of awkward look. And I spot this, and I think, okay, this is a customer, be polite, because she kind of comes along and says, Jimmy, or whatever the kid's name was, we don't really believe in that. I was like, oh, you're one of them. I've heard about you. You're meant to be in, like, Louisiana or something. And I had a young Earth creationist in front of me who believed that the Bible was literally true and the universe was 6,000 years old, and God said zap, and it happened. And I was explaining to her child that things were completely different. So that was pretty awkward, right? And I didn't really know what to do because I had a really strong sense of customer service here. These people had paid money to come to our science center. This person was an absolute hero for bringing her kid to this place in the first place, where she must have suspected that some of her beliefs might be challenged by this. You know, maybe. And we had a conversation, and she was fantastic. She says, I want to expose my kid to these ideas in the proper context and then tell him my view afterwards and let him decide. And I thought, you're my hero. My absolute... I never thought a creationist would be my hero, but there she was. But that was a bit too awkward for me, and I'm not sure I can deal with the general public. I'm barely standing here right now. It's only because I've got some friends in the audience. But, so yeah, science communication is hard, because sometimes you get situations like that, and these guys don't know it yet, but they're going to get challenged when they go into their little careers as well. So I turned my back on science communication as well. I thought, all right, maths, physics, chemistry, biology, the other biology, psychology, and even sociology of science and science communication. All of this it's not for me. So I work in admin now. I sit in a dark room looking at negatives of photographs of the history of CERN, which this year is very exciting. We're 60 this year. And so I get to do my geeky little collection of pictures thing, check the numbers. I like it. Anyway, so that's how I got to be here somehow, is just kind of turning my back on field after field after field. But the moral of the story, to the extent there is one, is that the people who you see today, the 5 we've just had, the 6 we're about to have, are even more hero to me than the creationists, because not only are they actually successful at staying in science careers and don't just give up after 5 minutes and the minor awkwardness of having to go fetch leaves in the snow, not only that, but they actually take their work and try to share it with the world. And so I would ask you to keep applauding them during their talks. And yeah, these really are my heroes. So let's hear it for the 5 you've just seen and the 6 you're about to see. Have a lovely evening. I've been Alex Brown. Good night.
Thank you very much, Alex. Okay, guys, we're on to the second half of tonight's show. I hope you've enjoyed the first 5 contestants. I'm sure we've got some wonderful talks to come. Up next is another girl. She's from EPFL as well, another scientist from EPFL. Let's welcome Vibhuti. Hi, Vibhuti. Oh, sorry. So you are a chemical engineer,
yes.
Is that correct? What is your favorite thing about chemical engineering? Because I hated chemistry at school.
Oh, well, my favorite thing is that I really get to appreciate things, you know. I know, like, the dress you're wearing, it's black. I know how that black pigment was produced. You see that paper? I know how you produce it from wood. So I actually get to appreciate things in day-to-day life, and that's cool, yeah.
That's really cool.
Don't hate it.
Well, I'm sure what you're doing is a bit more fun than what I've done in school. What are you going to be talking about today?
So I'm talking about how the history of faded genes go about by the catalytical reactions.
Catalytical reactions
Yeah.
for genes. Awesome.
That's true.
Good luck. You've got 3 minutes. Oh, and guys online, if you're watching online, please don't forget to vote.
Yay. Okay. Hi, everyone. Yesterday, I opened my wardrobe and I said, oh, what I'm going to wear today. And I just came across these jeans. You see, these faded blue jeans. And I was thinking, like, oh my God, the company must have washed it like 20 to 30 times to make this so faded and so torn. But you know what? No, that's not how the business works like. They'll not put so much of energy and they'll not put so much of time to just make this faded jeans. They'll not wash it 20 times. They have a better solution which runs this billion-dollar industry, and that is the catalytical reactions. What catalyst does is it makes the blue dyes, it puts it on your jeans, and then it uses a catalyst that is called an enzyme to fade it. Let's go into a technicality and see how this catalytical reaction works like. Let's say this is the blue pigment on this gene, and when you wash it with water, the water comes, it strikes it, strikes it, strikes it, strikes it, but it sees one particular point where it actually gets fixed, and it takes the pigment away with it. So what happened here is that the water molecule made like thousands of collision with your pigment in your genes to actually take it away in one go. So that's a lot of energy. That's why you have to wash it like 20 times so that the water molecule can actually strike at one particular position that is required. Now, what the billion-dollar industry did is it founded a solution. It founded a catalyst. Now, what a catalyst is? A catalyst may be just a simple metal which provides a surface, just a little surface on which a reaction can take place. So what they do is, like, while washing the first time, they put the catalyst, say the enzymes, into water. And what that catalyst does, it goes and sticks to my genes. And it holds the blue pigment with it. So that's your catalyst and the blue pigment. Now the water comes and see, oh, I know where to sit, and I exactly know how to sit. So it sits there, and it sees, oh, that's the enzymes I want to take. That's the blue pigment I want to take with me. It sticks, and it leaves the surface. So see, there were no collisions. You don't want to spend so much of time so that it can actually fit in that. So as simple as that, it was so quick for the industries to make these faded genes just by using catalysts. So that's the beauty of catalyst, that it's easy, it's quicker, and you can reuse it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting.
Now, are you interested in chemistry?
Yeah, a little bit more. Let's hear from the jury. Yasmin, do you wear jeans?
Thank you. That was really nice. Really nice to see why you are passionate, you know, about science. It's kind of like, for you, the curiosity, the drive to be a scientist in order to be able to, you know, to look behind the scenes, I guess.
Always. And if you permit me, can I give you an example, like why I'm still working on, you know? It's like the catalyst can fasten any reaction. You see, like the petroleum that is being used, say that in 50 years you'll be out of petroleum because you don't have the reserves. The biomass takes thousands of years to degrade. But the important thing of catalyst that actually the labs are working on is that you can have a catalyst, you can put the biomass, and you can produce the fuel in just 4 hours, you know. That's the beauty of thing. Yeah.
So you've always been so curious? You always wanted to be a scientist? I mean, it seems quite natural to you.
Yeah.
Wanting to know, wanting to find
Actually,
out.
when I was like in my high school, one of my physics teacher was, oh, you should go for a PhD, you know. Yeah, always.
I just wanted to say, and I could have said it to the others also, the usage of objects like that is very precious. I mean, I work for television, and the image is very important, and that imprints the brain even more if you do it like that than just talking, so congratulations.
True. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Vibhuti.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to bring on our next participant, Andrei Rogov. Thank you so much. How did you know? It's just as you're only like it's this year anyway. My birthday. It's actually going to be. Andrei is from the University of Geneva, and you're studying physics and nonlinear optics.
Exactly.
Is that correct? So what
Exactly.
what is your talk for us?
My talk is about how do we recognize an object as an enemy or an ally for us.
Enemy or ally. Very good. Here's your clock. It can be your enemy or it can be your ally. Pay attention. And them too. There's your audience. Here's your jury. Do your best. Come right up here. Here you go. Thanks.
Scientists say that everything we face in our life, we evaluate using 3 criteria. Is it useful or useless? Is it active or passive? Is it safe or dangerous? It came from our ancestors who, for their survival, had to know that an apple is useful, passive, and safe, and a saber-toothed tiger is not useful, very active, and extremely dangerous. We can rapidly evaluate things we see around us, but what if our enemies and allies are too small for us to recognize them? What if they have a size of a cell in our body? The attempt to diagnose cancer on the cellular level is a tough challenge. How to find out if a cell is cancerous or healthy? Is it safe or dangerous? Is it an apple or a tiger for our body? This challenge is tough because a cell is 10,000 times smaller than these pinball balls. Now, the real-time experiment. Some of these balls are cancerous cells, but which ones? To find out, we use nano-sized particles, particles that are smaller than a cell. They are specially designed to recognize cancerous cells and to ignore the healthy ones. So for the moment it looks like this, and then we do some cleaning. Oops. Then we use some external source of light to see better where particles stick to. And that's why we can't say which cell is good or not. This method with the external light works much better without ambient light. So in my personal life, I work in the dark in the lab like a vampire. In the reality, this research requires the united efforts of a team of professionals, biologists to study cells, chemists to produce nanoparticles, and physicists like myself to see what is going on. And together we work on the method which can detect cancerous cells and is able to find a saber-toothed tiger.
Excellent job. Okay. Yes, Louis.
Was everything, but one thing that remains is that if you can detect them so efficiently, could you also destroy them equally efficiently?
I'm sorry?
If you can detect them with so much efficiency, presumably you can also destroy the cancer cells with efficiency or efficiently.
Yeah, so this is the next step. Because we use lasers to actually detect nanoparticles which stick to the cell. And what we can do, we can use some special excitation of the laser to produce UV light very near to the cancerous cells and to destroy the nucleus. Yes, this is the next step.
Okay, very good. Very short.
Very quickly, promise. Regarding the presentation, I really liked the use of props. I thought that was great, and the imagery used was great. I would suggest you work now a little bit on the pacing, to vary a little bit the pace.
Yeah, okay. And perhaps one advice: do not learn by heart, even for 3 minutes. I mean, if you try to learn by heart a text, it's so hard. I mean, just try. I mean, you're passionate about it. I'm sure even if you do some mistakes, I mean, if you talk and it comes from inside and not from thinking about the words you want to say, it'll be much more fluent.
Good job. Okay, thank you very much for the comments. Thank you, everybody.
Right. Our next contestant is a condensed matter physicist from the University of Geneva. Let's welcome Leonard Rouillet. Hi, Leonard.
Hello.
So, Leonard, not unlike his Big Bang Theory namesake, once built himself a scanning tunneling microscope out of a birthday card.
Yes, we tried. We almost managed, but it's actually pretty tricky to do.
I'm sure it is. Can you tell us just a little bit about it?
Okay, so first I have to explain what a scanning tunneling microscope is. It's, as its name says, a microscope that has the particularity to allow us to image atoms. So the amazing thing, I think, about the project I was working on is that you can actually do that with the materials that are in a birthday card. You know, the one you open that are playing a little song and everything? It could also be a Christmas card, of course. But so starting from that, you can build an STM, a microscope that can allow you to see atoms.
Cool. Sounds fascinating.
I mean, cool, I don't know, I like it. Many people find that boring, but...
I like it.
Thanks.
Quel est le titre de ta présentation?
Alors, le titre de ma présentation s'appelle Le coup de lune. I'm going to do it in French, so sorry for the people that don't understand English. But the English translation is moonburn.
Moonburn.
Yes.
Sounds wonderful. Good luck.
Thanks. Bonsoir à tous. Je vais donc vous parler du coup de lune. Et pour ce faire, je vais vous raconter une petite histoire. Un soir, une nuit plutôt, je marchais dans la nature et je regardais tout ce qui m'entourait. Je regardais les arbres, je regardais les fleurs et, bien entendu, je regardais la lune. Et c'est là qu'une question m'est apparue. Je me suis demandé d'où venait la lumière de la lune. Parce que, contrairement aux étoiles, comme le soleil, la lune n'émet pas de lumière. Et en fait, en réfléchissant un peu, c'est ça. C'est le soleil, la clé. En fait, ce que la lune fait, c'est qu'elle reflète. Donc ceci est un miroir, si vous ne pouvez pas voir, je m'attends un peu plus de lumière, parce que j'y arrive. Elle reflète la lumière du soleil sur la Terre. Et là, je me suis posé une deuxième question. Une deuxième question pour moi beaucoup plus importante. Mais avant d'aller plus loin, il faut que je vous dise encore quelque chose à mon sujet. C'est-à-dire qu'en plus d'être physicien, j'ai une passion. Je suis passionné par les vampires. J'ai lu tous les livres, j'ai vu tous les films, j'ai écouté toutes les chansons, et ainsi de suite. Et donc, quand j'ai réalisé ça, je me suis dit, bon, la lumière de la lune est en fait la lumière du soleil. Donc, on m'a menti depuis ma plus tendre enfance. Et on ment à tous les enfants. C'est-à-dire que les vampires devraient brûler quand ils sont sous la lumière de la lune. Et je ne pouvais pas supporter ça. Je ne pouvais pas croire qu'on mentait à tout le monde. Alors je me suis posé la question. J'ai réfléchi. J'ai utilisé mes super pouvoirs de physicien en me disant, bon, alors, mais en fait, qu'est-ce qui arrive aux vampires? Les vampires, ils ont un excès, ils ont en fait un coup de soleil extrêmement violent. Et qu'est-ce que c'est qu'un coup de soleil? Un coup de soleil, c'est une surexposition aux rayons ultraviolets du soleil. Donc, si la Lune est un miroir et réfléchit les rayons ultraviolets, il devrait brûler. Mais en fait, si on réfléchit plus loin, la Lune n'est pas exactement un miroir. La Lune est plus une sorte d'objet blanc qui flotte dans le ciel et qui reflète la lumière sur la Terre. Un peu comme un écran de cinéma. Quand vous êtes au cinéma, vous êtes éclairé par l'écran. Et en fait, il se trouve que la Lune absorbe les rayons du soleil, les rayons ultraviolets, et qu'elle renvoie le reste. Donc, en conclusion, vous n'aurez jamais de coup de lune. Et il se trouve que les vampires peuvent sortir en sécurité la nuit. Maintenant, pourquoi est-ce que j'aime beaucoup cette histoire? Parce qu'elle illustre très bien le raisonnement scientifique. Être curieux, se poser des questions et chercher la science n'importe où, que ce soit dans une tasse de café, que ce soit dans un cerveau, que ce soit dans un nuage, que ce soit dans une rivière ou en regardant la Lune. Merci beaucoup.
Merci bien. Alors, Claude, est-ce que vous avez des commentaires?
En fait, si on est sur la Lune, est-ce qu'on peut avoir un coup de terre?
Alors, c'est une très bonne question, parce que quand on va être sur la Lune, la Terre étant beaucoup plus grosse, va remplir une plus grosse portion du ciel et elle risque de renvoyer une plus grande partie de la lumière comparée dans notre situation sur la Terre. Alors, ça dépend. Parce qu'il y a certaines personnes qui ont des maladies génétiques qui les rendent beaucoup plus sensibles aux rayons ultraviolets et en fait leur ADN ne se reconstruise pas. Et donc si on a cette maladie, on peut même avoir un coup de soleil, enfin un coup de lune réellement et craindre la lumière de la Lune. Maintenant, sur la Lune, avoir un coup de soleil, Il va y avoir un coup de terre, du coup. Personnellement, j'en doute beaucoup. Mais après, je dois avouer qu'on devrait faire les calculs.
Moi, je voulais juste dire que j'aime beaucoup votre conclusion parce qu'au-delà de communiquer sur les résultats de la science, je trouve que c'est important de communiquer sur la démarche scientifique. Hein, c'est quelque chose de très important et effectivement, j'apprécie le cheminement pour arriver à cette conclusion.
Merci beaucoup.
Let's thank Leonard again.
Don't forget recording that, okay? Got to get the levels right. Okay, we're going to bring up now our next person who is going to dazzle you. Her name is Jennifer Fowley. Hello, Jennifer. I know you're from the University of Geneva.
Yep.
I also know you came from up in Scotland, right?
Yes,
North
I
of Scotland?
did. Yeah.
Was there a river near where you lived?
Many rivers, yeah.
There are many rivers. And what's the title of your talk?
The mathematics of a river.
Oh, very good. Perfect. Here, you've got 3 minutes. You've got a wonderful audience. They've been great. A fantastic jury. Well, we'll see about that later on. Good luck.
Thank you. Albert Einstein. Everyone's heard of him, but very few people have heard of the little contribution to geography which he made, and I think it's quite fantastic. Now, you've all seen a river, and you may have noticed that rivers do not travel in a straight line. They go from side to side like a snake. Even though that is not the most direct or easiest route for them to take, that would be a straight line downhill into the sea. So why do rivers make life difficult for themselves? It was Einstein, a theoretical physicist, who first suggested why. And his reasoning was like this. When a river is forced into its first bend, maybe there's a rock or a tree or something in the way, the bend starts off small. But this bend will get bigger and bigger. And this is due to something called centripetal force. It's an effect similar to the one you feel when you drive your car too quickly around a corner. You get pushed to the outside of your car, and the same thing happens with the river. The water is pushed to the outside of the bend. This results in the outside riverbank being eroded more than the inside. So that's why the bend gets more and more pronounced. Until there's another rock or another tree in the path. And then the bend is forced to change direction. And this makes a loopy river. Geographers have a way of measuring the loopiness of a river. And this is the distance the water travels, taking in all the bends and curves, divided by the straight line distance between the source of the river and the mouth. They call this ratio the meandering ratio. So for a perfectly straight river, this ratio would be 1. For a very loopy river, it would be more than 1. Now, it turns out that if you measure the meandering ratio of all the rivers in the whole world, the result is a rather special number. The average river on Earth has a meandering ratio of 3.14159. If you did pay attention in your high school math class, you should recognize that number. It's pi, the ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter. And Einstein recognized that this would be the case because the centripetal force makes the river loops circular-like. They're like parts of circles, where the distance the water travels is like a circumference, and the distance as the crow flies is like a diameter. Out of all the things Einstein did, relativity, quantum mechanics, electronics even, I think this is the most beautiful, because it shows us that mathematics is not just foreign symbols on a blackboard. It really is physical, dirty nature, and it is all around us, all the time.
I don't get it. You're saying that mathematics is around everywhere, all over the place?
Unfortunately, even on clothes.
Okay. Okay, for Jennifer, do we have one question here. Who's got a question or a statement?
Well,
Jasmine.
First of all, I really like when you became the river yourself. You know, it's quite nice to be part of the presentation. Why did you choose specifically that? Was that something, I don't know, because you had so many rivers where you grew up? Why did you specifically choose that? Because it was quite nice how you started with someone well known, you know, a scientist everyone knows in that sense, and then you came to quite a nice story where you also compared with driving
And so it's quite really nice kind of parallels as well. Why did you choose what you chose?
Well, you know, I first heard this story. I don't know how old I must have been. I think I was quite young, because for a long, long time it was in the back of my mind as like a dream, and I couldn't really remember the details of it. And then quite recently I looked it up. My curiosity got the better of me, and I checked it out, and I actually followed the science of it. And I don't know, it was just something that was always there, like subconsciously, and then it appeared suddenly. So
And
I thought I would
science,
talk about
right?
it. Yeah.
That's science. That's
Yeah.
the science. Okay, so thank you very much. Another big applause for Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer. Next up, we have a computer scientist from here at CERN. Let's welcome Gianluca Valentino. Gianluca, welcome. I'm not going to
Thanks.
say welcome to CERN, because this is basically where you live. What do you do here at CERN?
I develop application software for the LHC's collimation system.
The collimation. Oh, okay. What kind of software?
I program mostly in Java, but also I do some data analysis in Python.
And you're from Malta.
Exactly.
Is that correct? Is that some kind of tasty Maltese treat in there?
No, it's a surprise, so you'll
Is it
see
a surprise?
later.
Okay. Well, what is the title of your talk?
The title of my talk is Our Data Are Up in the Clouds.
Okay. Well, you've got 3 minutes. Audience, judges, here you go.
Have you ever wondered what 1 billion gigabytes of data look like? Well, if we store them on DVDs and stack them one behind the other, they would reach all the way from here to Zurich, 220 kilometers away. But what could you do? What could you store on a hard disk which has a capacity of 1 billion gigabytes? Well, for starters, you could store 1 billion illegally downloaded copies of Angels and Demons. But actually, that's the total amount of data which is currently stored in the cloud. Now, if you think that I'm referring to the fluffy white objects up in the sky, I'm here to talk to you and to explain what is cloud computing. So the computing industry is currently in the middle of a revolution, similar to the Industrial Revolution of the early 19th century. In that period, factories were built and productivity was increased. But it was only when electricity and water became utilities that industry had what it needed when it needed it. And utility-based today, computing is becoming a utility as well. And cloud computing is one of the examples of utility-based computing. But you might ask, what's the word cloud doing in cloud computing? Well, if you've ever been on a plane and tried to peek out through the windows, through the clouds, to catch a glimpse of the land, you might see that it's really hard to do that. And so the remote machines providing the data processing and storage inside the cloud are well hidden, because the clients, they don't need to know, they just need to know how much terabytes of data they have stored in the cloud. And they're not concerned with how the resources are being allocated internally. So cloud computing has 3 levels of service. Is there anyone here who has used Gmail or Google Docs? Well, if you have, then you've noticed that all you need to do is to log in and connect to your account. You do not need to download and install the software on your local machine. So that's software as a service for you. Now, on the other hand, platform as a service means that the cloud provides a computing platform, such as an operating system. Is there anyone here who has Windows or Linux installed on their machines? While on the other hand, if you're looking for storage of data, then infrastructure as a service is the thing for you. So computer security, the advances have ensured that our data is safe. And so the data will not rain down from the cloud and get lost. Thank you.
Oh, crap. Thank you very much, Annika. Okay, we have a question from Luis.
Well, how easy is it to protect your privacy in the cloud? Or everybody can look at your messages?
That's a topical question.
Well, there are different countries have different laws according to what country you're in. So that's probably one of the disadvantages of cloud computing is you don't know exactly where your data is being stored. But I think that businesses are finding this so comfortable and to use. I mean, startups can just start renting, for example, databases and start their business. So I guess that in a few years we'll be seeing more stricter legislation towards privacy of the data in the cloud.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Let's thank Gianluca again.
Thanks.
Okay, that's going to bring up our final participant, and that's going to be Michael Olubarton. Bonsoir, Michael.
Bonsoir.
Michael is from University de Neuchâtel, is that correct?
C'est correct.
And he's a man from my own heart. I studied mathematics, actually, as an undergraduate. I love it. At the time, we hadn't invented games yet, so we didn't have game theory. We were still just counting rocks.
Okay.
So Miguel's going to tell us about game theory. What's the title of your talk?
Roll dice to save lives.
Roll dice to save lives. Okay,
Yes.
very
So,
good.
there you go.
Here are your dice. There's your timer. There's your audience. Do your best.
Every day, each one of us, we make choices. Some choices are driven by passion. Some others come after some strategic, deep analysis. For instance, you're at home in the evening and you hear someone yelling, "Ah!" Should you call the police or should you not? You want to go to your job. The job is at the other side of the city. Should you take the metro or should you take the car? You have a very important announcement to make. Do you make it now or do I wait a little bit? We make choices. And we are mutually affected by these choices. Imagine, nobody calls the police. The crime isn't punished. Everyone takes the metro. I'd rather take the car and enjoy the city. Everyone takes the car. It's traffic jam with massive economic losses. I make my announcement too late. Maybe someone else make it before me, and it ruins all the surprise effect of my announcement. So game theory tries to identify interdependent strategic decisions and try to find the best possible decision. So, wow, that's very good. But how can this help, for instance, the prominent Dr. Ceballos, who works at the clinic hospital from Barcelona and who faces a very delicate situation? He has a patient who is very, very ill. After all these medical tests, he has come to the conclusion that he has a horrible virus. But it can be of either type A or type B. He has a treatment for both these viruses, and he knows which treatment is efficient, what proportion of this treatment will heal the patient. Now, the problem is, he cannot do both treatments, and he knows that if he takes the wrong treatment, the patient will eventually die. So now, I don't know if there's some doctor here who can help Dr. Ceballos, or maybe out there. So treatment A or treatment B? Well, the game theory gives us an answer. Well, A, B, there's also a continuum of infinitely many possibilities. Choose randomly, roll a dice. Choose treatment A with some probability, and treatment B with another probability. In fact, there is one number among these infinitely many which is optimal, in the sense that it would maximize the chances of healing this patient. Any other decision of Dr. Ceballos, based in his experience or intuition, would be outperformed by the game theoretical solution. Now, are we ready to make our choices randomly? Especially when these choices are concerned about human lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mikhail. Very good. Excellent job. Okay, let's go first to our jury. Any questions, comments on game theory? Mikhail. Don't fight over them.
I found it very interesting. I especially like the talks when we learn. It's perhaps because I'm a journalist, I'm a bit biased, but what is new. But I mean, gaming theory and all these algorithms are very, I know, important for the future. It's polemic, but it's important, and I find that makes your content very interesting.
Thank you very much.
I mean, I find the application is quite abstract to say you can actually then apply it in a case like this. Can you give us another example? Because the theory itself, yes, but applications themselves, I mean...
Well, application, what you need is to define the framework, see what are the choices each of the players or agents have. So here, the virus is like a player. If we know nothing about the virus, we can imagine he's playing against us. So that's why in some contest, we can imagine that nature is like a very bad player trying to minimize the efforts of the scientist. But other applications are, of course, in congestion games, what transport to take from one point to another. Every day, we take the car, and we only know how much time it took us to job. But we don't know what did all the other players. So we have very little information. But with game theoretical tools, we can still get to find the shortest path in very dynamic and complex situations.
You always have to consider a system as far as you can define it.
Yes.
And you've got to stop somewhere. I mean, it is a very abstract way of thinking in terms of the application.
Is there a winning strategy for the stock market?
Yes, yeah, okay, there.
Don't play.
There you go. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you very much, Mikhail. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And a big hand for Mikhail, and also a big hand for all of the participants for coming out here. Thank you. Okay, so, and what we're going to do now is we're going to, I'm not good at this. Women can multitask. If I hear someone talking to me, I can't talk. I can't do anything. So we're going to ask the jury to do a very, very difficult job. You're going to have to deliberate. You're going to have to come up with the top 5 and put them in an order, please, for us, because we have some prizes to give. It won't be important for their future participation. 5 will go on to Zurich on May 9th, but we have a few little prizes to give them. We're sending the jury off. Is that right? Do we have a place for them, or do they deliberate here? Okay. Okay, you're going to go up to the quantum bar. Okay. Very good. Very good. That's one of my favorite places is the quantum bar. Okay. So thank you again, jury. And yeah, you have to go away. Okay, so now you're going to see now something which is pretty remarkable. You're going to see some very fast work by our CERN videographer, Noemi Carban Gonzalez. She did an incredible job of actually having already put together a video of the making of FameLab. And I hear that she already has the deliberation on there, but I'm not sure how she did that. But anyway, we're not going to show that yet. So here's a making of FameLab 2014, the Geneva Heat.
So hello, my name is Leonard, I'm Swiss.
Hello, my name is Andrei, I'm Ukrainian.
Hi, my name is Christopher Hemmons, I'm from Britain.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Fowley, I'm from Scotland.
Hi, my name's Daniel Galician, I'm originally from the UK.
Samira Askari. I am originally Iranian.
Hi, I am Vibhuti. I'm from India.
Hello, I'm Gianluca Valentino from Malta.
Hi, I'm Giovanni Porcellana, Italian.
So my name is Philippe. I work at EPFL in Switzerland. I'm Swiss.
FameLab.
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 Right, so that was just a nice behind-the-scenes peek as to what the participants have been getting up to today. Right now, while the judges are still doing their thing, we've got a special treat for you today. We have Domenico Vicinanza from Cambridge, who's here with a team of his musicians. Domenico, would you like to come on stage? Now, Domenico works for a company called Giant, and for the CERN people, it's not that Giant, it's another Giant. But they do all the cabling and the hard technology infrastructure that basically the grid is developed on, which is very important for us physicists here at CERN. But your passion is combining that with art, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So today you're going to be combining the art form of music with the technology of the science of the Voyager expeditions. He's going to cheat a little bit. Today the rules of FameLab is that you're not allowed to use PowerPoint presentations, but he's going to use the PowerPoint presentation. Would you like to introduce your musicians, Jeff?
Yes, so we have a fantastic trio tonight playing some music from the space. We have Miyoko at piano, Audrey at cello, and Natasha at violin. And the reason why they're here will be clear in a second.
All right, well,
so,
thank you very much. I look forward to hearing it.
Thanks for the
I
introduction.
hope you all enjoy.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Domenico Vicinanza, and I'm a musician and a scientist. And the reason why I'm here is because the music we're going to listen to tonight is no ordinary music. It has a story. It actually has a story that comes from really, really far, 18 billion kilometers from us, to be precise. And it's the music of sound of space exploration or space discovery. And everything started when, in 1977, NASA sent two twin spacecrafts called Voyager 1 and 2. Their mission was to explore the outer planets of the solar system, Jupiter and Saturn at the beginning, and then going farther away, Neptune and Uranus. And they did that. They did an amazing job. They got us some really amazing picture of Jupiter and Saturn. And for the very first time, we had an idea about how Uranus and Neptune looked like. Before that, we didn't know how, what color they were, for example. And probably the most fantastic thing about Voyager 1 and 2 is that after 36 years, they are still there. They're still in space. They are still making measurements and taking data from. And what do normally scientists do with data? Well, they typically use points and lines, and they create something like this, a graph. You're all familiar with that. But this is not the only way to describe information. That's not the only way to create something from numbers. What we can do, for example, is taking numbers, taking measurements, and map them to melody, to a piece of music. Imagine large number, high frequency, low number, low frequency. In this way, what we have is a melody which is following exactly the same shape, the same behavior, inheriting the same regularities, the same richness from the data. And that's exactly the basis of the piece of music you're going to listen tonight. That's where Voyager 1 and 2 are. This in the middle is the sun, that's our solar system, and that's where they are, 18 billion kilometers from here. And they're quite far away from each other, 21 billion kilometers one from the other. But they take data, so these are numbers, and those numbers can be actually converted into melodies using this special network called GIANT, which is a special network connecting 50 million researchers and students across Europe, one of the most powerful networks of the world, which is dedicated to research and education. And so, since we have melody, what we can do, we can combine melodies together. And this is, if you like, it is like having the two spacecrafts being gathered together on the same stage for us tonight. And that's exactly what we're going to listen to. And you can see some fragments here from Voyager 1, from Voyager 2, even combining them together. So Voyager 1 and 2 are creating harmonies. And those harmonies are being played by a fantastic trio tonight. So without any further ado, and thanking you for being here, I'll let you enjoy some music from the space.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. A big applause for the musicians and for the Cosmos, who actually created the music and gave it to Domenico to translate to these musicians. That was outstanding.
That was wonderful, beautiful.
We have some winners, and we're going to start before we announce the jury has deliberated. They have their group of winners. We have measured each and every single one of you and how much you applauded. We registered all of that data and are giving it to our governments, and we'll have a winner from that. But before that, we're going to go to the online winner. So there was some voting done on Twitter and on Facebook, and I want to introduce to you my colleague Achintya Rao. He is involved. So this is all about science communication. Here is a real science communicator. Achintya works for the CMS experiment, which were the major experiments on the LHC. And Achintya, can you tell us who the winner is?
That's right, Steve. So we had quite a few votes coming in, and it was close. So the winner, the audience choice winner for FameLab Geneva 2014 is Giovanni Porcellana.
Giovanni.
Giovanni, well done.
Come on up, Giovanni.
No.
Come on, we'll bring up Giovanni. This is the online. Thank you. Good job. Congratulations, Giovanni.
Well done, Giovanni. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We also have an audience award for the people who are in this room. We have a very science technical way of measuring your applause. And the winner of the audience vote from you guys, due to how loud you clapped, was Jennifer Fowler. Jennifer. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And we have some prizes that are coming up here for you. Here we are. You have to share, Jennifer. You can't keep them all. Pick your favorite. Show us what you got. Go ahead. Show us. We want to see.
You're like a kid on Christmas, Steve.
Yeah, I love this stuff. Oh, that's awesome.
That's
So,
a cool
you know what this
t-shirt.
T-shirt is? This T-shirt is a proposal that was it was thought of as being sort of vague but promising back. And what was the date for this? Do you remember when this is? 1989. 1989. This is the proposal from Tim Berners-Lee for the World Wide Web.
Oh, and you got the Lagrangian T-shirt to match Steve.
And you can, and you got, that's a beautiful T-shirt. Look at that. It looks a lot like this. Yeah. There you go.
With this T-shirt, you know everything about the universe.
There you go. And you guys can mix and match, too. Okay, big hand. So
thank you very much, guys. You can go sit down.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, and now it comes to the really important part. We're going to get the judges up on stage. Judges, and their spokesperson. The whole jury. Come on.
Come on up here.
All of you.
Are you going to come up? I thought everyone was...
Don't be shy. Come on. They don't want to go up? Okay, they don't want to
Okay,
go up. Well,
we have a spokesperson.
They're too shy. Well, we've got Claude, who is the spokesperson for the jury team today. And would you like to do the announcement?
Okay, I'll make the announcement, but first of all, I would like to say that we had a good time. The members of the jury enjoyed very much the 11 presentations that we had. And we learned a lot of things about cloud computing, about the meanders of rivers, about how to make decisions, and the light that the moon is producing and reflecting here on Earth. And we learned a lot of things. In fact, we are slightly smarter now than we were before this event took place. So on behalf of the jury present...
Of the jury, let's bring them up here.
Okay, let's all come here. Not beyond the black line here, because you may fall.
Yeah.
Don't fall down. That out earlier. I can confirm.
Christophe, Louis. Come on up here. No, I'm right up there. I'll stay back. I'll stay in the danger zone back here. Come on.
Catch them if they fall, Steve.
Yeah, so again, we're very impressed with the presentation, and we congratulate very warmly all the 11 participants. But we had to make a choice, and we deliberated a little bit outside of here. And we came up with the following. I'm going to give first names of the runners-ups, and finally I will give the name of the winner. Runner-up, number 5. It's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The 1 being the winner. Miguel Oliu Barton. Miguel.
Come on up, right up in front.
We should move this.
Okay, so.
Help me move
There you
this.
go, Mikael. So what's important to know is that for the top 5, they're all going to be going on to the finals in Zurich, and they will all get training beforehand. So you're going to get to learn about communication as if they need it. And
We do.
and they get a T-shirt. Is that right? Okay, and they get a T-shirt as well. Not just. Well, we'll see. Okay, here we go.
Okay, second runner-up, Vibhuti Shabra.
Congratulations.
Okay, next we have Jennifer Foley. Congratulations.
Wait, Claude.
Daniel Galishan.
Don't announce this one yet. They want to give the prizes to these guys. Don't announce the last one yet. Wait. Antonella, do you want to? Okay, all right.
Okay. And then the winner is Philippe Kobel.
Hey! You're going
So
congratulations.
Oh,
to
here
all.
comes. We have prizes for you. You don't just to go on to more and more fame, but we have some prizes for you. A CMS umbrella. That's great. T-shirt, CMS umbrella, and Atlas puzzle. My favorite here. It has.
Congratulations.
It has 100 million parts. and the winner. Is it down here? Yeah, down here. Yeah, get up there. Come on. And the winner gets a Swiss railway pass. Congratulations. You go. It's one way, though. So you got to do really good. All right? So big hand again. Big round of applause for the winners. Thank you very much.
Well done, guys.
And we thank the jury very much. I'm going to let you do the whole thing. Start with the jury.
Right, so that actually brings us to the end of tonight's show, but we've just got a few thank yous. So most importantly, thank you to the contestants. We have, in order of appearance here, we have Daniel, Chris, Samira, Philippe, Giovanni, Vibhuti, Andre, Lena, Jennifer, Gianluca, and Mikhail. Thank you very much for coming and for trying this out, and I hope you had as much fun as we all did. Thanks, of course, to the jury members. Without it, we couldn't have done without you guys. Let's give them a round of applause. Steve, get on up here.
I'll get up here. Let me thank them. Well, let's enjoy. So we have Claude Nicolier. We have Christophe Angar. We have Louis Alvarez, Emma Sanders, and finally Yasmin Koch. And we really appreciate everything that they did to get these prizes. I know it was really hard work. I don't know how you chose, to be honest. We also have a lot of people who were involved here, and they brought you some really nice entertainment. So first of all, a big thanks to the guy who came out here, and you guys were trying to decide if you should vote for him or not. But Alex Brown, I voted for Alex Brown, actually. And our music, our outstanding music, again, as I said, we have to thank the Cosmos for writing all of that, but Domenico for translating the Cosmos. Come on up here, the musicians. Let's come on up here. Domenico, and at the piano, we had Mihoko Mori, Natasha Katus, I hope I pronounced it correctly, and Audrey Lafargue. We'll all fit up here, don't worry about it. And they're from the Learning Classical Music Club here at CERN. And I just know that because my son is learning from Mihoko here. So if you want to, your children, or if you want to learn classical music, there's Code to Learning Classical Music Club.
Without the AV team in charge of the lights and the microphones and the sound and everything, as well as the webcast, we couldn't have done without them. So thank you very much, Gilles, Guillaume, Loic, Michael, Piotr, and Paola. They're probably in the back still making sure that things are going to run smoothly, so I'm not going to ask them to come up, but thank you anyway.
Okay, and we also need to thank all the people, of course, who are behind the scenes and who did a lot of very hard work to put all of this together. So there was Noemi, Manuela, Marco, Christine, Ines, Acintia, Davide Giamboni, Stefania, Rashida, Christina, and of course, Antonella. Thank you for putting this all together, Antonella. Come on. Yeah.
And of course, FameLab is an idea that was come up by the British Council, so we'd like to thank them greatly for this and for putting on the event, and specifically Caroline Morrissey. Where is Caroline? Where's she hiding? There you are,
There
Caroline.
she is, Caroline. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the British Council.
A brilliant idea to do this. And of course,
thank you, CERN, for hosting the event. And thank you to my co-host,
and thank you for being the hostess.
Thank you.
You did an awesome job.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you, CERN, for hosting us all. Come on up.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope I can eat it.
Thank you, Marco.
Let's go eat.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And well done to all of you.